Hi everybody, I'm Chewy, and this is Cinnamon, and then there's Little Chewy. But
Little Chewy.
welcome to our FWA recap. We went there as a birthday gift to me actually for turning 20, since we'll be doing stuff when I'm 21 and going to Japan. We figured this year would be a good time to do a trip to a con that we wouldn't normally do, but we wanted to go to, and it was very interesting. It's very different from a lot of cons up here, so there's quite a bit to talk about. So let's dive right into it with planes. Oh boy, she's.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, we did take all of those there. It's very interesting being in a plane, as I've never actually been up in one before, really that high. So takeoff was kind of funny because I was like holding your hand super hard the whole time, because it's definitely something you have to get used to after a few times of doing it. But we had to fit two fursuits and the weekend's worth of clothing into one suitcase, and that thing looked like a deformed mess.
It looked like it was ready to explode.
And then we had to fit our heads in our little backpacks that we'd use as carry-ons. So that was very interesting, and because of that, quite a few people who we were either on the flight with or also going there noticed us and talked to us at the con, like, "Hey, we saw I saw you were on the same flight as me. I saw that you guys were carrying your heads and stuff." So we got to end up hanging out with some of those people, and it was really nice. But once we got to Atlanta, it was 60s and 70s.
It's snowing here right now. It really sucks.
The trees were green. Things were green. It was nice out. I didn't hate it. It's definitely something I haven't been able to feel for the last 3 months. So right away, I'm already in love with Atlanta. Um, Traffic was rough. We took an Uber to get there because we didn't know how the train system worked and how close it brought us to the actual hotel. So we Ubered pretty much the like 20 minutes it took to get there.
Mhm.
Uh, Really interesting town. Very high amounts of traffic for how their highway system's set up, but guess you can't fix that in every city. But once we arrived, the hotel is huge.
Like 60 floors.
I looked up and immediately could not comprehend how tall it was. Like, we got tall buildings here, but none that like have this open center that just shows how high it goes. And then started the wait. If you've seen really anything about FWA, you know it's it was Line Con and Elevator Con, because both of those were slow. The line took 3 hours on Thursday.
3.5. And yeah, we were in line. And we didn't get our like little bracelet thingies until like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, we missed the rave and everything, and I heard that the Thursday night rave was the best rave out of them all. And a lot of people missed it because they were just sitting in line. So all the people that played that kind of got screwed over because they didn't get a big enough audience, really. But yeah, reasoning for that was the bands connect to the internet so that they have a chip in it that you scan it and it lets you into things. The issue though is that the internet there wasn't good, so it'd take them a while to do each single one, which would make the line go on forever. Um, this led to lines that would go all the way around the first lobby, and then we just end up waiting that long, and you'd really move maybe, what is it, 30 feet every 10 minutes,
I don't know. We mostly just sat on the floor and chatted with other people in line, making the best of a bad situation.
and prayed for death. There were some rooms where it was just hot. It was an enclosed space, and there'd be like 70 or 80 people in it. It'd just be heating up continuously. But once that was finally done, it was pretty much freedom. After that, there wasn't any super bad lines or anything, unless
The
you were.
line for the dance comp was long, but that's always long,
Yeah.
so That wasn't that big of a deal.
So that was really Thursday because we had to fall asleep right after that because we were
Mm.
drop dead exhausted. Um, Friday though, we started off by going to the mall that's there. Really, it's a nice mall. A lot of interesting food choices. The only issue was the ceiling was completely exposed. They must have been in the middle of constructing it, so it's like this really nice mall, and then you could just see all the internal stuff on the top, like all these dangling lights and wires held up by zip ties and stuff. So a little iffy, but it was still a lot of nice food there. That's where we primarily ate for most of the con, with a few exceptions.
Mhm.
Was there really anything interesting that happened Friday? I don't distinctly remember anything.
Friday was our big fursuiting day. We had the fursuit games
Oh
Friday.
yeah, there were fursuit games. That was great. Oh, that tired me out for like the rest of the day by all the games there. They went all out on like physical abilities you had to do. They had a scooter racing for the teams. They had like collecting balloons and stuff, so sprinting out and grabbing stuff, running back, and all that. And then they had the musical chairs. Now, musical chairs is essentially a death match. It's probably the most violent game I've ever seen at a fursuit games, and it was probably the most fun I've ever had because it was really just joking with your neighbors, just going nothing personal, and then them all laughing as you like charge at a chair and like knock each other over for
I got out right away, so I got to watch the chaos unfold.
it. I got pretty far. I got like to the last like 15 before I got knocked out. But it's super fun, and I definitely recommend their fursuit games. Like that's probably had to be my favorite event there. But they didn't have many events. That's kind of the thing about that con is there's a few panels throughout the day, and then there's a few main event panels, but it's pretty much just a rave and like a few other things. And then that's it. It's really mostly free time.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's a really social con. So kind of the downside of not knowing anyone down there was we had to try to be social without knowing a lot of people. And we made the best of it though.
Mm-hmm. I fursuited a lot. I could
So
only bring one suit because we flew, so ended up bringing Cinnamon, and I had a lot of good times. There weren't very many Griffins there, so that was kind of cool. On Friday, I also went to Griffin meet and greet, and that was kind of fun.
was Friday the day where I played Rock Band for like 4 hours in fursuit?
I don't remember what day it is.
All I remember is they had a great game room with a ton of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure if it was Friday or Saturday, but I ended up playing Rock Band with a bunch of other people in fursuit for like 4 or 5 hours, and it was great. Definitely lose track of time by singing your favorite songs and then just doing Smash Mouth because why the heck not? And everybody getting 100%. But yeah, we turned in early that day, didn't we? We're still kind of tired from everything.
Not particularly early. I know you were playing Rock Band, and I went to the rave,
Oh yeah,
and the music was kind of but it's I'm not huge into electronic music to begin with, but I danced around as a bird and it was fun. And then we went to bed, and the next day we spent most of the day at the Atlanta Aquarium.
it was definitely a lot better than any aquarium I've ever been to. I've only been to a few, like one out in Tennessee when I was younger, but this one was amazing. Their big exhibits was they had a dolphin show, which was really entertaining and really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a huge tank that you go under with a like conveyor belt and it's like you can see on all sides. And they have three whale sharks. Now it's the only aquarium in the world that has whale sharks. So well, yeah, in the U.S., right?
U.S.
Yeah, U.S. And just seeing them swim right over you with like a trail of fish all with them and stuff, it's nuts. It's really beautiful though, and it was definitely worth going to go check out. And then after that, we went to the Hard Rock Cafe for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome food. They don't really have those up here, do they? There might be one in Illinois. I'm not sure.
I don't know. They have them in various cities all around, but
None by us. And then we went back to the hotel and we had a few panels that we went to.
I think I went to the Warrior Cats panel that night.
Yeah, you went to the Warrior Cats panel.
That was really awesome. We were just watching old Warrior Cats AMVs and just freaking out, and it was fun.
And well, you were no. Then you went to the dance comp after that.
Yeah.
And then while you were at the dance comp, I was at a panel on fursuit modification and how to make your how to hide the human figure. And well, I know I'm a plantigrade fursuit, but I do want to try my hand at digigrade again because the first time I did it, it looked not that good. It looked like pillows everywhere. But I definitely want to work on stuff like that. So that was a great lesson on how to work on building suits and editing body shape and figure to mask the human form. And then we had some after dark panels that we went to. Pretty interesting stuff. The one issue with how their panels worked is it wouldn't tell you info about the after dark panels. It just says on the scheduling after dark panels, go see this thing to go look. So you have to go all the way to all the panel rooms, and then they have this whole board with all the info on them about what they are and when they are. And it's kind of difficult because it's not ease of access like most con sites where it just blatantly shows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel the way they set it up, they should have just used the same one that MFF and First Squared used for their website app for scheduling because it was kind of poor, and you had to like register, log in, install an actual app for it. Yeah, all apart, I don't think that was good. But then again, the wristbands weren't good either. There were a lot of technical mishaps there that really inconvenienced a lot of people because a lot of furs don't like wearing like bracelets and stuff that they can't take off. It creates anxiety. I know you had that problem the first night and you figured out how to take yours off, which I'm kind of jealous about. But it worked. The only downside for fursuiters was it's a fabric, so you can wash it, sure, but it does start to smell.
And it also didn't like to scan
Yeah,
through fur, which really sucked.
there's a lot of videos of fursuiters just there for like 5 minutes trying to scan it before finally just taking off a paw. And really, they could have done it a lot better. I get that they were trying to stop ghosting, but that just inconvenienced everybody else. But we just made do with it. And then you talk about the dealers, then? It's huge selection.
Yeah, because of a bigger con, there was a lot of different vendors, which was pretty cool. All the vendors were actually really halfway decent. There wasn't like any real duds or anything there. Sadly, because we flew, we couldn't really buy much of anything.
Yeah, we got to we bought a few things that we were able to shove into our bags somehow. I don't know how we made those fit, but we were able to get a few choice things, but nothing really big or cool. I wish we could have got a T-shirt, but we didn't really have the extra space for anything.
And their photo booth was really cool. So it was basically like a regular photo shoot, except you could buy like prints and various like little merch, like badges. And I ended up getting a little badge. And the photography was great. The background was great. And it was really like professional.
Yeah, they really made sure you could get good poses and they made sure pretty much every shot looked good. So they'd make sure you angle yourself a little bit more, move you around just a hair. They were really good with making sure every picture turned out really nice. And it's probably one of the best parts that they did work on was make sure their photo booth was great. Uh, oh, their game room and their board game room were both really great. They were hosting in the board game room a bunch of raffles where you play the game, you get entered in a raffle to win a copy of the game. So of course I tried and worked for like an hour and a half while she was at the dance comp, learning how to play what is it? Star Wars X-wing Squadron or something. It's a little tabletop combat game where you're essentially one team's the Imperials, one team's the Rebels, performing fights in space. And it's really interesting and fun. It's just really hard to pick up. So I convinced another person to come and play with me, and we could learn how to play it. And we finally finished the game by me screwing up and flying off the map and killing myself because I was not anticipating the angle of turns that I had to make. But their board game and video game rooms were amazing. They definitely put a lot of work into them. They were both super well stocked, super huge, had almost everything, and they made these custom game rooms like arcade cabinets that were custom made for FWA. And
Yeah,
they
the art on the outside of them was like furry art theme, and that was pretty cool.
and they were all set up to play like almost any type of arcade cabinet game
Mm-hmm.
because it was all hooked up just to a system, and that was really cool. They definitely did a good job on it, and never played GoldenEye on the 64 ever, but I beat the first level with first pause and first head on. I was pretty proud of that. And then Sunday was the gala.
That was at night, but what did we do during the day?
I don't exactly
I think
remember.
we just fursuited
Yeah.
the day, and then we went to the gala at night, which was after the closing ceremonies, and it was kind of just like a little dance thing. Like there was a formal dance, but you didn't have to like dress up formal, and they had like snacks and music, and it was pretty cool.
And they had a little photo booth where you take some pictures, and then you can make a little like 4x4 strip, like if you went to like one of those photo booths at like a mall or something. And you could make a little something like that, and we made some really cute ones with because she wasn't in suit, but I was, and it was adorable. And it was essentially, I like to call it furry prom because it had little snacks, it had their signature drink that they made, which was like a sparkling blueberry lemonade.
It wasn't sparkling; it was just blueberry, like blue raspberry lemonade, and it had like that edible glitter stuff in it, and it was made by Jones Soda.
I think it's the same. It's the same people who make the Nuka Cola Quantum. So it's pretty much that except FWA themed. And that was gone almost immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably one of the funnest dances I've ever really been to because it was completely different from a rave. So you were dancing to like actual interesting songs, not like rave mashups where you don't exactly know what's playing. They were like playing like Duran Duran and trying to remember some of the other songs that I'm blanking. But really nice. I loved the gala. The rave was okay. We went there for a little bit, but it was really too loud for me. Like it was kind of hurting my ears, so I kind of went left, and then we hung around upstairs, and then went to bed early because we had to get ready to leave for a flight the next day. And next day we hopped on the subway system, which was pretty much right next to the hotel. Takes you straight to the airport, and we were off in an hour pretty much. We met up with the other guy, furry, that was on our flight, and we hung around and talked for a while before we had to board. And when we got back to Chicago, we met a few other furries who were there from their other flights. And after that, we began the long trip home of driving through kind of iffy conditions and then passing out.
That is FWA 2018, our recap.
Yeah, it was a great con. Thanks for listening. If you liked what you heard or want to hear more, please like, favorite, and subscribe. I'll be definitely doing a one for furry migration because that'll be the next con we're going to. And if you got anything you want to say, you can comment down below. Bye.